Hello, Southstrong Nation. Joe Simon, Slick Diamonds. We are back again. This is going to be a fun podcast slash YouTube video all about sunglasses. And my friends, you're wondering, do I have any expertise in sunglasses? Well, you're about to find out because I can keep going and going and going. I really believe I've got, and that's just a fraction of them. Yes, it is very evident that I have a sunglasses problem. Like maybe girls have issues with buying purses and high heels. I've always had some crazy issue ever since I was really a teenager with sunglasses. And I probably have 15 to 18 pairs here in front of me, all anywhere from $30 to $300, and I've got a whole box full more, and I've given away tons of pairs over the years as well. I tell you all that not to show you how awesome I am, but to say that, yeah, I have a problem, so keep me in your prayers, and two, that I have put on a lot of different sunglasses on my face, and I love talking about this. So here with me, if you're listening in and can't see these beautiful mugs here in front of me, I got Mark the Shark Goodson, and I've got Wyatt, who, man, is Mark mentioned it offline, looking a whole lot better with the beard.
I'm working on it. Trying to get to you and Mark's level.
So how many weeks is that?
I think probably 5 or 6 now. It was when you guys made fun of me on one of these Tackle Tuesdays not too long ago, and I said I got to grow a beard now. I got to do it.
I'll show those guys what's up. Might take me a couple months, but I'll show them.
Joe, I have to say, I'm impressed with how many glasses you have. That just blew my mind.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. My brother certainly knows it. But yeah, and I have all the main ones. So we've got Oakley, we've got Smith, we've got Costa, Maui, I know we talked about Strike King. I do have those somewhere, one of those boxes. Cast King, and I have them both in glass and in the poly, kind of more of a plastic. And we'll talk about all that. So we're going to be discussing on this podcast, just the overall frames. We're going to be talking about what you want to look for, things to avoid, because I've certainly bought some bad sunglasses, like these Costas right here. I do like Costa in general, but check out these things. I mean, horrible frame for fishing. And I don't know what happened. I left them out in the Tahoe too long, and they were all white, and they literally just, I don't know what caused that, but they started getting nasty, doo-doo brown on the side. But in general, these are not good just because, I mean, they're so small. I mean, you can tell a massive difference when we're talking about fishing. One of the most important things, obviously, is going to be how much of glare is coming in your eyes. It's impossible to keep 100% out unless you have some crazy goggles on. But glasses like these that have a lot smaller frames compared to, let's just say, these, I mean, that's a massive, massive difference in how much of your your eyes are getting covered. This just lets so much more light in, and I found these kind of smaller glasses to be highly ineffective. And before we get into this, I do want to say, if you are a fisherman, an angler, whatever you want to call yourself, and you're not using polarized glasses, you are missing a ton of fish. And Wyatt, maybe you can kind of share a story. When I first met you, you didn't have a pair of polarized glasses. I was like, dude, you were missing out. And once you got some, you're like, all right, my world has been changed. And I know you went fishing with someone here recently, one of our insider members, who didn't. And I mean, it's night and day. You were having to point out stuff that they couldn't see, not because they're a bad fisherman. It's just you're at a massive, massive handicap without good polarized glasses.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when I met you, I just go out and I'd wear my hat, and, if sun got in my eyes, it happened. I never thought about buying polarized glasses, but it's insane how much you can see when you don't have glare in your eyes. Not only just what's happening on the surface of the water, fish movement, displacing water, but if you're in clearer water, you can actually see fish with polarized glasses if you've got a good quality pair. So, I was out pretty recently, like Joe said, with an insider who was not wearing sunglasses, and there's tailing redfish over to our right and our left and in front of us. And I'm having to say, cast here, cast there. You know, they can't see the glare from the water versus the redfish tail because, you know, when those tails come up out of the water, they're pretty pale. They look almost like a glint of sun. So having those sunglasses, especially, I'll talk about these ones later, these ones with Chroma Pop, I like these ones by Smith. Now I can really see different colors in the water. I can see different glints that might be a redfish tail, or that might be some water that's getting displaced unnaturally by, you know, bait fish or a game fish. And it really, really can help you catch more fish if you've got a good pair of sunglasses that, you know, you're comfortable wearing.
Yep. And then, you know, Mark, his backstory is he came from the tackle world and got to see a lot of different pairs of sunglasses going in and out of a tackle store. And there's an advantage there, not just to see what people are buying, but also what gets returned, which frames and which brands have the most issues. And so Mark will be able to talk on that. Any first thoughts, Mark, before we kind of get into this and talk about maybe the color of the lenses and what's most important first?
Yeah, I think another big factor of sunglasses is the eye fatigue. I understand that being able to see through the water column itself, but not having eye protection, I mean, it can really play some hard games with your head, you know, give you headaches. It really, you know, shortens your lifespan of your vision, and more so your wife would know a lot more than me what it does to you long term. But I'll tell you, there's been days to where my eyes have just fried when I didn't have sunglasses. So another big reason why, you know, that protection is so important.
Yeah, and what he's talking about is my wife is an eye surgeon, and what's interesting, she knows all about this in terms of what it can do, like literally burning your cornea. But myself as a skin cancer survivor, you know, I got to go back twice a year to get full-on body checks, and that's one of the questions that you know, I go to a special dermatologist that works with people who have had melanoma. And that is one of the questions they ask every time. They want to make sure you're wearing sunglasses when you're out on the water fishing, because that reflection off the water back into your eyes, what Mark's talking about, it's literally like fatiguing your eyes. It also causes skin cancer in your eyes. Yes, it is possible to get skin cancer in and around your eyes, not just underneath here in the sensitive area, but actually like in your eyes. And that happens, guess what? Like, you're kind of done. You will be blind. So it is incredibly important to be wearing sunglasses. I don't even know how people do it. I was just out in St. Simon's Island, and I took my glasses off for just a little bit to wipe them. And of course, it's a little bit more sensitive when you had them on all day, but it's like 11:30 in the afternoon, and like I could barely see. I'm like, I don't know how people go out there with just how powerful that sun is reflecting off the water. So I want to talk about mistakes first, because I think that'll be really important. So I think mistake number one is just going with a brand that's a top seller. I'm going to use Costa, for instance, because I think Costa's done a great job of marketing. They have great glasses. I'm not poo-pooing on Costa at all. They're not my favorite, but they have great glasses. And I think a lot of people just go with whatever's cool or whatever they see the guides or the pros wearing. And I think that's a massive mistake. You need to go with what fits you the best. And for instance, I have a thin bridge nose, and I have some Costas. Let me find these suckers. So I got these things everywhere. Those are Costas. So these Costas in particular, they don't, like, watch how just easily they fall down. I barely put any pressure and these things start sliding. Now, once I'm a little bit sweaty, these things are falling off my face every 5 seconds. It feels like I never wear these glasses because they're crazy expensive. And here's one reason. One, I got a nose piece that didn't fit me. I went with glasses that were like some of the most expensive Costas they had. These are the Costa Hamlins, if you want to know what they are. Have the night, and they're glass too. So when you have glass lenses, you know, they don't scratch. They're not 100% scratch proof. I don't know anything that really is, but the glass is heavier. So this is like the most expensive Costas that I could buy at the time. So they're super heavy. They don't fit my thin bridge nose, and they slide down. So now I have, you know, a $280 pair of glasses that literally sit here and collect dust. In case anybody wants them, maybe I'll do a giveaway on something like this sometime. But this was a massive mistake. And I paid for all this stuff myself, by the way. This was a painful one, because they look cool, they look great. And if I was just wearing them inside or maybe driving, one thing, but I'm telling you, the second that there's any sweat at all, they start sliding down my face, and that is the most annoying thing in the world. And you can only imagine when you're trying to fight a fish and things are sliding down, this absolutely stinks. So number one is go with something that fits your face. Go try them on. Don't just buy what everyone else is buying. And I think on that glass versus the poly. So you have glass lenses versus the poly, like basically plastic type of lenses. It makes a massive difference in weight. The glass lenses are more expensive. They're considered to be nicer, like higher end, but they're a whole lot heavier. They will still break. Obviously, it's glass. If you drop them from 6 feet up onto concrete, they will shatter and break. They are nice because they're going to be scratch resistant or even scratch proof in some cases compared to the plastic ones. Any more thoughts on that, Mark, on the glass lenses versus the plastic?
Yeah, I'll do three categories because plastic is its own category. So plastic, polycarb, and glass being the third. And I think all of them kind of have their place, right? The glass, in my opinion, it takes some of the different layers of protection, I think a little bit better than polycarb does. So all the different layers that they kind of sandwich one on top of the other to make that, that acuity the way that they brand themselves to make. I think glass holds things better. So polycarb, some of the benefits behind polycarb, number one is it's a lot lighter than glass. And how they're manufacturing polycarb today, they're making it so strong. So when you drop sunglasses, when you beat it, you bang it, you don't have to worry about the breakage issue that you would with glass. But it's still, considered to be a premium level lens compared to what some of the cheaper products on the market are. You mentioned Strike King earlier. Strike King is a plastic lens-based company. Yeah, they do have some upgrades, but the majority of their stuff is a plastic lens. And they still have the same kind of, makeup in their internal lenses as what some of the high-end companies have with Costa. They have an S11 style sunglass that has 11 layers of sun protection. When you think about 11 layers on a plastic lens, you're starting to drive up the cost of that product, but you're still looking at a $20 to $30 pair of sunglasses. So there's inexpensive barriers to entry to the sunglass market that still give you a good quality product. And, in my opinion, you're going back to, the fit of the sunglass where you said that, your bridge is different. Yes, the nose piece is awfully important, but I also want to see how it affects the temple of my head, because there's nothing more, painful to me than have something pushing on the side of my head all day long and creating that headache. So it's not only the way it fits on my ears and nose, it's kind of the overall scope of what I need that lens to do.
Yeah, I think that, to me, that's the most important thing with polarized glasses is the fit. And Mark mentioned something that I left off earlier. There was one pair. I think I've given them away. I know who I'd given away to. I won't say his name in case he hates them now, but he got them for free. But they're about $150 pair of glasses, and they wrapped around my head so hard. Like that was supposed to be the pro of this type of a frame, that it was kind of tight to your head so it's not going to fall off, which I like. I was like, hey, I got a thin bridge nose, that'll be helpful. After about 2 hours, I had a throbbing headache. If I couldn't wear them all day. There's no way I could wear them out in the water for 6 hours. I would literally be like passing out from the headache. It was just like shooting in. Felt like just someone had their two fingers just pushing on the side right above my ears all day long. It was so frustrating. So that is incredibly important. And sometimes that could be hard to even know, just going to like a Sunglass Hut or wherever you're buying your glasses, or a tackle store. I would almost say the best thing you could possibly do is, if you have a friend that has a lot of glasses like me, go out with them and just say, hey, can I borrow a pair for the day? and just see how they fit throughout an entire day of wearing them in the sun. Do they slide down your face? How do they feel? Are you seeing the same amount of fish as other people? I'm going to bring up these. This is another big mistake. These are great on fit, and these are the Oakley Holbrooks, a very popular pair of glasses. They look good, right? I feel great. I feel confident in these things. However, these absolutely stink for fishing, and not against Oakley. I'm going to show you some Oakleys that I really love. And Tony does this. He did a great video on it. He calls it the finger test. We're talking about fishing, not looking good and trying to get a date here. So if you can put your finger through the side, it's probably not the best fishing frame for a sunglass frame for fishing. So look at this. I can put my finger almost all the way up here without any problem. Basically, if you can touch your eye without even hitting the frame, these are not good. So this is letting so much light in. And I've worn these in videos before. A lot of times is when I forget my other glasses, which you're probably wondering, how is that even possible, Joe? But these are the ones that I usually do drive with because I'm not having to worry about fishing. So once again, if you're listening to me, just know that I'm putting my finger and touching my eye while I have these glasses all the way to my face, and I can get in there and I can reach every single piece of my eye versus these Oakleys. Whoop, those are Smiths. These Oakleys are called the Oakley. These are the split shot. Now check these out. These also look similar. Look how much of my my eyes and around this eye region it's covering. And now I can't even get my finger in here without popping the glasses off. So we're talking about a massive difference here where now I can't even get to my eye without popping the sunglasses off my face. And that's just a really good test. So when you are putting these on, try the finger thing. Go up from the side of the eye. Like if you're listening to this and you can't see it, put your finger in the very side, right where the frame is meeting that arm, and try to reach your eye. If you can touch your eye without having to pop your glasses off, those are probably not the best fishing glasses. They might be good driving glasses and good like going out to have a beer glasses in around town, but these are not going to be good fishing glasses as much as I love my Oakley Holbrooks. And that goes with all these, from the expensive ones to the cheap ones. What do you guys think? Any other comments on that, on the fit and other mistakes that maybe you've made or you've seen people make, Mark or Wyatt?
I completely agree with choosing the wrong fit. For a long time, I did it. A long time I wore aviators because, like you said, they look good.
Oh, the aviators.
You can stick if you're watching this, you can see I've got my finger. These glasses don't have to move at all. And it's just, these are not good for fishing.
You can stick a broomstick in those.
Yeah, they look good, and I like them for driving. And if for some reason I forget my actual fishing glasses, I'm going to wear these because, like Mark talked about, fishing eye fatigue is a real thing. But, these lenses that wrap around, these are the most ideal, like, fishing form right here. They wrap around the side of your face because they're going to keep glare from getting in. They're going to, if you've got a face shield, a really great thing you can do. I don't have one near me. But what you can do is you can pull that face shield up almost to the edges of your glasses and no glare can get in. And it really, it just improves these sunglasses. You can't really do it with these. Maybe your Holbrooks, you possibly could, Joe. But, the whole idea behind that is you don't want glare getting in. So I completely agree with you. Those lenses that wrap around your face like these are 100% go-to. But I know you mentioned earlier trying on a bunch of different sunglasses. There are some sunglasses, you can see these frames, where they actually bend out. And I've found that is really, because I didn't get a chance to try these on before I bought them, but somebody had told me that these did this. So they're super easy to fit on your head. So these, adjust. If I was to hand these to somebody that had a bigger head, I don't think it would be an issue, because they're not going to pinch your temples really hard. So if you can find those glasses that have hinges like that, that's another good way to not have to worry about comfort too much. But I agree on the nose bridge thing. I made a mistake with some other Smiths that I had that, didn't fit the bridge of my nose. And I actually ended up losing them in the water because I looked down and they fell off my face. And you need to get that nose bridge to fit properly. I'd recommend trying on sunglasses before you buy them if possible.
So that's interesting. So what Smiths were those that you were just holding that you like?
These were the guide's choice. I don't know exactly what the other Smiths were because me and my brother found them snorkeling in Panama City Beach. That's another great way to find really expensive sunglasses is snorkel on the first sandbar at any popular party city. And you can find tons of sunglasses that tourists have lost on their jet skis. But I found a really nice pair of Smiths, and I just lost them in the water because they didn't fit the bridge of my nose. I would highly recommend trying on sunglasses before you buy them.
That's pretty funny.
And another nice thing too, Wyatt, you can hold it up. I think, I don't know what it is about Smith lately, but they have taken a ton of market share. And a nice thing about the glasses that Wyatt has is when we're talking about fit, it has an integrated lanyard built into your sunglasses. So the lanyard actually fits into the earpiece of your sunglasses, and it kind of is inset into the frame. So why that's important, again, I'm a big temple guy. I don't like a lot of side pressure on the side of my head. So when you add one of these eyeglass sun, retainers, so they don't fall off your neck kind of thing, when you're adding more and more material to the side of your sunglasses, it puts more and more pressure on the side of your head. And I think that that's what Smith does so well is they integrate that lanyard into their sunglass frame. So there's no external pressure added to the side of that. And again, I don't want to smash on cables, but cables is a very popular sunglass lanyard system. But whenever you slide the cables onto the frame of your sunglasses, it just makes the end of your sunglasses so bulky, and it creates a lot of side pressure.
Yeah, this lanyard actually comes with the sunglasses, and you just insert them into here. I pop the regular inserts out. It doesn't come standard like this, but these come in the case that you get the sunglasses with, and then you just pop them in. And like Mark said, it's an insert. It doesn't add any kind of additional pressure to the side because the insert is from the outside. So, I mean, if you want the lanyard, which I would 100% recommend if you want to protect your investment, you can use it. If not, you don't. I mean, I don't know why, because it doesn't add, like Mark said, any extra pressure to your temples.
Yeah, and I'm a big Smith fan. I love their product.
Yeah, and that's maybe one reason that they've done so well is because of Joe Simons. So these are just some of my Smiths I'm holding up right here. And so I did with the Smith, and we can talk about this next, is the color of the lens. And so I found for me that the guide's choice was probably the best overall fitting. And so I tried all of them. And so I will say I really did pay for all these glasses. At ICAST, the Smith had a booth, and I'm chatting with them, and they'd heard of Salt Strong before, and they're like, hey, if you guys want, we can give you like some coupon codes. And it was weird. It didn't really say what the code was. I don't know if they weren't allowed to like say what it was, but I got one of the little tickets. It was like something that had a little just checkout code. It didn't even, I was like, oh, it's going to probably be 10, 20%. The one was like 60% off. I was like, heck yeah. So I went and bought a couple with the 60% off discount. And so this guide's choice, this is glass. And what's crazy, I wish you guys could see it, but I have another screen right over here. And if I close my left eye, so I'm only looking through this lens, the entire screen is pitch black. I'm talking like you can't see anything pitch black. And these are also Smith guide choice. These are the polycarbs, right? Right? Does that sound right, Mark? Yes. And I close my eye, it's dark. It's like a shade, but I can still see it. So if you've ever been like up to like an ATM machine or something with truly polarized glass lenses on, the entire thing should be like pitch black if you look at it from an angle. It's crazy what they've done inside of these glass lenses. Dude, it's nuts. Like it almost spooked me when I looked over. It was the whole bright white screen is completely pitch black. I don't know if you guys can see it. I mean, it's a bright white screen. It was completely pitch black. That was crazy. But anyhow, going back to it, so I started really falling in love with Smiths. Once again, I'm not trying to say Smith is the only thing you should ever use. I think you'd be crazy not to look at them. But for me, in terms of how it fit my nose and the bridge of my nose and had that just overall all day long comfort and the view in terms of having a nice lens, I started buying them in all the different colors. So this is kind of what they would call the brown. I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if it's brown or copper.
Yeah. Some manufacturers call it copper, some call it amber. You know, it just depends on the color pattern.
This is probably one of their most popular, just overall inshore fishing glasses. What a lot of sites will say when they start talking about the color of a lens is this brown, amber, copper. I mean, it comes in different hues as well. That this is going to be one of the overall best for just that, you know, inshore fishing, for outdoor sports, etc. It's going to enable you to see a whole lot better in the shallows versus, so these are almost like a pure, this got a little bit of a mirror to it. These don't have as much. This is more of like a pure brown, and it's just a slight tweak versus these, same frame, and look at the blue/green lens on that. And would you say this is more for like the offshore fishing is more popular, Mark, when you start getting in the darker mirrors?
Yeah, I think what the industry standard is the copper amber lens is great for not only low light scenarios, but if you really want to see deep into the water column. If you ever see a lot of professional bass fishermen, whenever they're bed fishing, they'll use amber or copper lens so they can really see that highlighted sand and really penetrate that water. But then when you start moving into that 3 to 5 foot of water, it kind of transition closer to the green spectrum. And then the further offshore you go, now you're going to get into that blue spectrum of lens. And then kind of your generic everyday wearing lens would probably be that charcoal setup. So that brown or charcoal gray lens would kind of be just a generic, I'm not great at any one scenario, but I'm okay in all. And that's kind of where the charcoal comes into play. But I would say it's copper, amber in the shallow or very detailed view, and then transitions to green, transitions to blue.
Yeah, I mean, and especially Wyatt, what you were talking about earlier, for if you're sight casting fish in the shallows, amber is what you want, and I think we'll all agree on that. You want that amber. I mean, some call it little bronze or copper, but that by far is going to be your absolute best lens color. You can tell a difference between, well, this is actually a completely different one. I don't know if you guys can tell, but you can probably see my eyeballs if you're watching this video. These are also Smith Guide Choice, and these are the ones that have almost like that yellow, like Bono from U2 look. I mean, everything is like bright. This is what you would be wearing in the twilight hours to see just slightly better. But as soon as that sun comes up, man, these things are horrible. So this is, once again, this is what a sunglasses addict has to go through, is having a pair for every single hour of the day. But I just show you this to let you know that that's why those are there. Unless you just love blowing money on glasses, you probably don't need these. Like, they're like the tournament guys wear these. When you got money on the line and you want just that, maybe that one slight advantage, this would be it. But otherwise, if you're fishing shallow, which I know a lot of our listeners do, and you're into sight fishing and just in general, and that 3 to 5 foot water or less, that I would go with some kind of amber. I would never go with green. I would never go with gray if you can avoid it. Once again, there's sunglasses like these that are kind of that blue tint, and these are more considered like that gray/blue. Like, I would never use these for trying to sight cast. Once again, if your budget is playing a big role and you don't want to have 15 pairs, I would say go with, if you're going to get one, go with like a Smith kind of a Guide's Choice, or an Oakley, or a Costa, or Maui. Any of those are great brands. I'm not going to ever bash any brands. Whatever one fits you the best, and go with some type of amber lens like that, amber, copper, whatever they want to call it. And if you can, try to use those bad boys on the water. What else you guys got? And we can start talking about some brand stuff too.
I think something that Wyatt can address, I think what also plays a big role, Joe, is how close you are to the water, because amber and green cut the water column differently depending on how far up on the water column you are. So where I might use a different lens when I'm high up in a boat, Wyatt might use a different lens low to the water, like a green setup or a green to a copper setup when he's real low to the water column, because it cuts that water column a lot different when you're real low in a kayak.
Yeah, I would say what it is, Joe, when you're up a little bit more in the boat, if you're on Luke's Maverick, you guys are a lot higher up than I am in my little Pelican kayak. So you guys are actually able to see the bottom of, wherever it is you're fishing. So those amber lenses, you're seeing the brown of the bottom, the silt, the mud, or the seagrass. And I'm sitting in the kayak, and a lot of times what I'm seeing is just straight into the water. Most times I can't see, outside of a 5-foot range of my kayak. I actually can't see the bottom. I'm just looking along the surface of the water. So I'm seeing a lot of dark green, especially here in the Carolinas, dark green. And these lenses for me work really well. I would like to have some brown ones on the days where, I stand up in my kayak or I'm waiting, but these actually work really well for me. They're not like a bright green. They're more of like a greenish brown. I wouldn't say green blue. They're showing up kind of weird in the light, but they're more of this color right here that you're seeing. If you're watching the video, is what I'm seeing through the lens, not this blue that's out here. I'm seeing this color through here. So it really does help me, because as I'm watching the water, a lot of times I'm not seeing directly, to the bottom. I'm seeing, shadows that are moving right under the surface, or I'm seeing different disturbances on the water that I can really pick up, because this green is what's mirrored through my glasses. That's what I'm picking up through, because I don't see that brown bottom that Joe might be seeing with his brown lenses. So great point there, Mark, especially with the different angles that you might be using the sunglasses to view.
Yeah, and just like Joe said, he's 100% spot on. Blue lenses are not the way you want to go when you're shallow water fishing. I would say that blue is probably the best selling product that we had, because it's more based on the fashion side of our sunglass industry. They look cool, they match more clothes, but when you're using it as a tool, the copper or amber lens or up to a green lens is the best tool for fishing.
Yeah,
now, offshore, a whole different ball game when you're out there in 100 foot of water.
I would probably say, to someone who's unsure of which lens color to choose, look at the area that you're casting to and try to mimic the color that you're seeing at that area you're casting to. Most times is, different water clarity, depends under different conditions, but, on average, whatever that watercolor is, I would try to match that to your lens as close as possible. Tony has a great video describing this that, we can probably link in the descriptions below.
Absolutely. All right, so let's talk about brands. So before I say anything, I'm going to let you know I've showed a lot of them. I got Hobie's. Check out these, by the way. So Hobie came out with these. I don't know if you guys can see. That's a lens there on the side as well, almost like those old school diving masks where, it had the little side lenses as well. So it was trying to block out and give you like the ultimate blockage of your face. They look so weird. Every time I wear these, my wife is like, please get those things off, because they're like a bright yellow too. Actually good for driving, like in the rain. It is crazy. If someone's in my Tahoe and it starts raining, I'm like, put these on, and they're like, holy smokes. So these do serve a purpose, even though like this bright yellow, goofy looking lens. These are great driving glasses, especially when it's raining and can be tough to see. So I got Hobie. I got Maui.
I don't know if you're allowed to roast your boss on a live podcast, but those glasses are terrible. Hey, I'm glad you're only wearing those in the rain. That's terrible.
Yeah, that's the one time that no one's going to be able to see me. So I've got Hobie. These are Oakleys. We had Costas, we got Smith, we have Cast King, we have Maui's, we have Breakline. That was another group that tried to really break through in the fishing world. Breakline, they're all made in Italy. These are actually pretty nice, but for the 180 they were asking, I personally would not buy these. And I can't even imagine they have great customer service like these bigger brands. I got the Costas, both in glass and the ones without it. I've got some Ray-Bans. what do we say? Oakley's. I've basically been through most all the glasses, and I have, like I said, a whole other thing of glass storage up there. And I will say, if I had to point someone in a direction of just overall best glasses, including customer service that I've experienced after owning all these glasses over the years, I would say Smith is what I wear probably the most and have the most of now, just because I believe in them. And then Oakley number 2. And Smith, we've talked a lot about them. Oakley, they've been around forever. I mean, I got into Oakley back when I was serious about tennis, when Andre Agassi came on the scene. If for you guys who are a little bit older can remember that, you know, Agassi was this kind of like punk. I mean, just he was a rock star on the tennis court and had these big Oakley, I guess the blades and the razor blades, these big uranium or whatever they're called lenses. And I still have some of those that were like bulletproof. And so Oakley's been around forever. And with these are the, what they call the split shot, I believe. Yep. I hadn't worn Oakley's fishing in quite some time. And I went to ICAST and they were coming out with these split shots. Now they're not cheap. These are some of my more expensive glasses. But what I love about them with my thin bridge nose, once again, not going to be for everyone, but Oakley has 2 patents, I believe. Number 1 is they have a patent on this nose guard. And this nose guard, it actually gets, it's almost like sticky / tacky when it gets a little bit wet and you start sweating. So this actually, like, you can feel it almost like forming and sticking on your nose. I love that. To me, that's the most irritating thing, is when you're out in the boat or you're moving or it's wavy and rocky and your glasses just are falling off. I hate that. The other one, in terms of, I think it's called their Prism, it's basically the patent on the curvature of the lens. So they're the only ones that can get a certain, you might know Mark more than I do, I don't have it in front of me, but there's a certain curvature, like a certain degrees, let's just say it's 28 degrees, that they have a patent on, and no one else can do that degrees of sunglasses. And apparently, according to Oakley, and they had a cool little booth where you could see the difference, and it's minute, but you see a difference, that having just that slight 1 degree curvature actually does bring out things in the water and takes off certain glares. So I tried these. I love them. They do have on the back, these arms actually pop off. I already took them off because they were kind of annoying. It's the only part I didn't like, but it comes in with built-in croquis or whatever you want to call them, sunglass guards. And this thing just pops right out and you snap them back in. So it's a little snap on the end. They're super lightweight, which I absolutely love. And they come in different lenses. This is the one I have, but I love these glasses. I do have a problem spending $250 on fishing glasses, just because even though I have a lot here, I have lost quite a few in the water over the years. And I almost feel like I don't wear these enough because I want to be so careful with them. Whereas you can find these Smith Guide's Choice, which is what Wyatt's talking about as well. And I know, Mark, you have some also, depending on if you can find them on sale or whatnot. I mean, sometimes, you know, $120, $150, certainly never $250 for these glasses, unless you bought like maybe the glass lens with the ultimate 580 chroma pop. But even with these, with the nice chroma pop and the polycarbs, I mean, these are in that mid 100 range. And I believe one of the best sunglasses for fishing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, and in typical fashion, as you know, this industry is so small. You know, you pulled up Oakley, but Oakley, Ray-Ban, and now Costa are owned by the same company now. So it's all one big conglomerate called Luxottica. So, you know, that's typical in our industry. You know, to me, you know, I not only we've, you know, talked about the fit, we've talked about the lens, but let's face it, there's a budget concern there. And I think that everyone, you know, kind of has that in mind, what his or her, you know, preference would be, you know, so, you know, we can talk about that. But, you know, you also briefly talked about warranty and how certain companies take better care than others, you know. And again, I know Costa is probably the big, you know, guy in the totem pole, and I'm not going to smash Costa, but, you know, one of those reasons why I left Costa and started fishing with Smith is because of that customer experience. You know, the only time I've ever had a problem with Smith was a dumb error on my part. I got into the habit for many months of hanging my sunglasses from my rearview mirror. And as you can understand, with your car sitting in the sun in Florida, that sun's shining through your windshield and it's baking the inside of my lens hanging from the rearview mirror. Well, dumb me, you know, I left them up there for many, many months, and I started to see a spot that was burned into the sunglass. So I sent them into Smith, and they didn't ask me one question. They gave me a brand new pair of sunglasses, and I had them back in my hand in less than 4 weeks. Even though it was my fault, I literally hung them up. I said, hey, is there anything I can do? It's my fault. They said, Mark, send them in. We'll cover it 100%. And I didn't get that kind of service with another major brand, and I'm not even going to say who it is.
It rhymes.
But the bottom line,
it rhymes with Mosta.
Most of the time, you know. And another thing with Mosta is, you know, some of the earpieces started to come unglued, maybe some delamination in lenses. You know, some of those reasons are why I left them. Okay. But, you know, going back to the budget side, I kind of had a 1-2 scenario. You know, I had my good glasses for my competitive side and my fishing side, and then I had my everyday wear kind of glasses that I can go out in the yard and weed whack my lawn, you know, beat and bang and not have to worry about it. But I still wanted that eye protection. And that's where Strike King came into play for me. You know, so for $30-something, you really did have a quality set of sunglasses that would do everything that you needed to do. Now, does it have the, you know, the cutting capability of a Smith? Probably not. You know, that's the reason why they're $30, but they are certainly better than the cheap guys that I've seen.
Yep, I love that. And what a great tip too. I think a lot of people don't think about, and because I see a lot of dudes in their trucks, even at ramps, restaurants, and they have their glasses sitting. One, you're kind of screaming, you want someone to break into your car or truck. But two, you could literally ruin the glasses by keeping them there. There's a reason. And if you look here, I'm going to try to just grab a couple of them. All these glasses you see, I don't keep them in here just kind of like storing stuff. I keep every one of my pair of glasses in these. I mean, there's a reason they send these things with the glasses. One, it obviously helps protect them from breaking and cracking. But two, I mean, the sun can destroy anything if you give it enough time. So I've always put all of my glasses in these protective cases. That's actually a really, really good tip. I will say too, I had a pair of Maui gems that I had screwed up and dropped them and cracked them, and I sent them back to Maui. And I don't remember the time frame. It was always longer than you want it, right? You want it back in a week. But same thing, they didn't ask a question. It was 100% my fault. I remember I dropped them on some gravel road and it literally just cracked and shattered the lens. And they sent them back completely free, like brand new pair. And I remember the guy had signed his name, some Hawaiian dude, like, you know, Hawaiian Dan or whatever his name was, and had signed his name, the actual guy who, like, you know, did all that. And I was like, and with a little handwritten note. And like, it still stuck with me. And that was many, many years ago. I was like, wow, that's really, really good customer service. And I have not heard or seen the same experience with, with let's just say the Mostas of the world. And so there are some pros and cons to that. And a lot of times too, the more that you pay, you're going to get some better customer service. I know, like with Oakley, when you spend $240, $250 in these glasses, you are going to get better customer service. I mean, it's built into that price. Let's be honest, just like with anything you're spending a lot of money on. So there are certainly some pros to spending extra on it. But then again, I said it earlier, you spend so much, it almost makes you nervous. So, around the boat and around the ramp and having your kids play with them. So I encourage everyone to have one nice pair, like you said, Mark, and then one kind of that $30, $40 range. Don't get the gas station ones. Most of those things are just horrible. They're completely mismarketed and can even cause some sun damage. Some of them don't even have that the same kind of protection these really nice polarized lenses have. But yeah, you can find some good ones in that $30 to $50 range all day long. They might not look as attractive. They might not have the same chroma pop, but they're still going to do a fine job. What do you think?
Yeah, I know we're on the topic of brands, so I'll kind of give my rundown. I would say definitely I'm with you, Joe. Best overall performance, like overall value. I think, Smith, these guides choices are probably the best sunglasses I've ever had. I did get the Chroma Pop, and I don't know if you can see the little wording right there. There it is, Chroma Pop. So the Chroma Pop is gonna make the glasses cost, like $100 more. In my opinion, if you're really wanting to get on fish, if you're out there all the time and you want to pick up on things you probably wouldn't with, regular sunglasses, I recommend getting the Chroma Pop. Again, it's going to cost you $100 more, so you really need to decide.
So how much were those? How much were those total?
I think so. Retail, they're like $239. I got them with my insider discount. I think they were like $150, $160 or something like that. So I got a really good deal on these. I would recommend, be an insider, get a discount on these things. I probably wouldn't have bought them if I didn't have a discount like that. But the Chroma Pop, super worth it if you can get that kind of discount. I don't think I probably would have got it if I didn't get the sweet little discount there. But again, you're going to pick up on stuff with that addition of the Chroma Pop. It separates definition and color are the two things that I was reading up on it, because I really didn't understand what it was, and I thought it was just something they wrote on the lens. And I honestly just picked the first one, didn't realize there were other options that weren't Chroma Pop. And once I started learning more, I've definitely seen a difference. You can pop on any other polarized sunglasses. I've tried on my friend's sunglasses, Maui Jim, for example, great polarized sunglasses. I'll say they actually have better comfort than these guides choices. But the Chroma Pop, I could see way more with the same color lens as my friend's Maui Jims. Granted, they were more comfortable. I like Maui Jim. They're a little bit less expensive. But if you're wearing sunglasses not because they feel comfortable, you wouldn't wear them in the first place if that was the case. You're out there being able to see in the water, being able to cut through glare, and be able to pick up things that you wouldn't see without being able to, reduce the UV. So I think performance-wise and overall value, Smith gets my vote for sure.
I got some Smiths that say Chroma Pop, and then I got this other one that says Tech Light. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, so Tech Light is their hybrid version of their polycarb to glass transition. So they have Tech Light. They now have Chroma Pop Plus, and that's their newest lens that they just released. And I have both scenarios, the Chroma Pop Plus and the regular Chroma Pop.
These are Chroma. These say CP Plus. These must be Chroma Pop Plus.
Yeah, so that was released late 2019, 2020 timeframe. Some models don't have Chroma Pop Plus in them yet. Some do, so keep that in mind. But just like Wyatt said, I have the same thing. I have Guide's Choice as well, in 3 different lens colors. And then my beating and banging, I'll use my Strike King stuff, a good $40 glass. That's just my scenario.
And you had said offline Strike King is one of the bigger importers or biggest sellers of fishing glasses out there, something crazy.
Yeah. So oddly enough, we're talking about the Mostas of the world, who actually makes their frames and lenses. Was a factory over in Asia, and then of course Costa puts their name on it and does everything. Well, Strike King hired that guy away from Mosta and made them. He said, "Hey, here's an open book. You make us a brand." So, and I don't remember the guy's name, but again, an Asian company owned several factories. And they became the largest importer of polarized sunglasses in the country. And I'm talking about Strike King fishing tackle, okay? And they had just a stupid number. And it was millions of sunglasses. And when you think about it, the Walmarts of the world that have 10,000 stores, when you're putting Strike King sunglasses in every one of them, you can understand how the numbers start to grow. But that $19 to $40 range, that's their market. They want something that's good in quality, but doesn't break the bank, something that you don't mind scratching and beating and banging. But it's a plastic lens, it has its threshold of acuity.
That's wild. So would you see the Strike King name and logo on all of them? They had to have different brands with it, or no, different white label stuff?
Strike King only has their name on everything. That's the only way that they operate. So they have two.
Pull them out. I got to go get them.
So they have, really just two basic kinds of Strike King. So their S11 is their high end. So that $30 to $50 market range. 11 layers of the sun protection. That's why they call it a S11. And then they just have their standard version that in that $19 to $35 range. Doesn't have all the protection in the lenses, but still a decent quality.
Huh. Yeah, the ones I had are like the full-on camo Strike King. Wife not a fan. Like, she actually liked these better than the camo ones.
As seen on TV truck driving glasses. That's what those things look like.
Yeah, you're welcome. Those are Hobies. You're welcome, Hobie. Just help you sell a few more pairs, or maybe not. Maybe I just destroyed your brand.
That reminds me of the old style. Remember back in the day, Joe, where you had the ones that went over the top of eyeglasses?
Yes.
I think they were called cocoons. Those remind me of the old cocoon glasses.
Yeah, that was the same time when Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure came out. So great movie, great year. Guys, this has been good. I'm feeling awesome just looking at all these glasses. I need to wear some of these more, and I learned some stuff on this one, so this is really helpful. We'd love to hear your feedback in terms of your favorite glasses, your favorite brands, any other mistakes that you've made. We've talked about a lot of them. Some of the main ones are buying what you just see other guide and pro staff and other people who are sponsored. Whatever say is good, put them on yourself. I think that's the main key is wear them, make sure they fit great, make sure you cannot touch your eyeballs through the side of the glasses if you're using them strictly for fishing and you really want some amazing fishing glasses. And then and then do the test too with the colors. You'll be shocked that there is a difference between the different lenses of color. And if you do get the nice ones, protect them. Keep them. I mean, look at these Oakley. These are my most expensive ones. And I mean, you could throw this thing like a football on concrete. I mean, it's pure. It's solid. It ain't going anywhere. You can probably. I don't know if you could run it over in a car. I don't know. You might be able to. Like it's that tough. So use these things. They're there for a reason. The Smith ones, not so much. You can kind of push those in. But I hope you guys learned something. I hope this was a helpful one. We'll continue to do these. I will continue to keep buying glasses myself. I do like discounts, and it helps my wife, once again, as an eye doctor, and occasionally, she'll even get some specials where I can get these at, 20 to 30% off. But man, I'm hoping we have iCast back again. Like that was like one of those home runs. It was like, holy smokes. And I think that was probably the reason I didn't know these could get up to like 240 because I got them on such a deal with Smith. So let us know. Leave us a comment. We'll have all this if you're listening via the iTunes or Stitcher, Spotify. Go to saltstrong.com/podcast, and you'll see this episode there where you can leave us a comment down at the bottom. We check every single comment. We would love to hear from you. Otherwise, if you haven't already, join us in the Insider Club. We do on occasion get some deals on glasses. We're trying to stick mostly with fishing tackle, but as Wyatt said, he did save quite a few bucks, quite a few bones on his glasses. So regardless if it's Mosta or Smith or any of these great brands, we'd love to hear what you're wearing, and if we hear enough of one, we'll go and try to get some discounts for you insiders. So just one more reason to join us in the club. You can find everything you want about that at saltstrong.com. Otherwise, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will talk to you on the next episode. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Wyatt.
See you.
You guys.
Peace.